All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Big Bang Wrestling. I'm your host, Marcus Dunaway, and this is my co-host.
And I'm Nick.
All right, and I guess it was last week. The storms kind of messed us all up. All this winter weather and knocked my power out for about 2 weeks.
Yeah. It's been pretty crazy. Work has been ridiculous. Was my job because of the storm. So
I could imagine. But last week, we just had a great interview with Virginia pro wrestling legend and Bruiser Graham. We went to his house, actually, sat down with him for about an hour, shared some stories from him being on the road, and even talked a little bit about his own promotion.
Yeah, talk turkey.
Yeah, and that was definitely a great interview. I enjoyed it,
Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. A lot of old school knowledge.
Definitely was. And for the wrestling industry last week, it was a pretty busy week from what we saw. First things first, I want to talk about the WWE pay-per-view, Elimination Chamber. Overall, Nick, what was your thoughts on that pay-per-view?
Overall, I thought it was fine. I thought the first Elimination Chamber match was the best one.
Yeah.
By far.
Because it seemed like it was a lot of some of the younger, not exactly younger guys, but a lot of your mid-carders trying to get that push, that elevation, up to the next tier.
But it was also all guys that have worked together many times before and knew how to work together.
Yeah.
It was a lot of, it was, Kevin Owens, Daniel Bryan, those guys, they're all good, good wrestlers. So.
Oh, definitely.
So, that when you have that many talented guys in one match,
there's no way it could go wrong.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought that was the best match of the whole thing.
Ultimately, we saw Daniel Bryan, he won it. Then as soon as I think even before they finished raising the cage out comes Roman Reigns for his title match against Daniel Bryan. And Daniel Bryan tried. He put up a fight, but couldn't put away the big dog. And then we saw a triple threat match for the United States title. I think that was on the pre-show, wasn't it?
Yeah, I believe so. And, Riddle, we don't call him Matt anymore.
R.I.P. Matt.
Yeah, when you get promoted to the main roster, you lose your first name. So
that's how it seems to go. But, we saw Riddle. He became United States champion. And Bobby Lashley, he looked pretty pissed about that one. But his night, and then going on to the next week, it got a little bit better,
Yeah.
And we saw Drew McIntyre. He retained in his Elimination Chamber match. And then got beat up on by Bobby Lashley. Miz came out. He cashed in. So now we have Miz as our WWE champion, just another 9 years overdue. He had the belt before, 10 years ago, right?
Yeah, it was 10 years ago.
I thought he was long due for one before now, but
I don't like that they keep beating Drew for the title and giving it back to him. That's just kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
Having him beat Brock Lesnar and then having him lose the belt now twice.
I did not understand the point of him dropping it to Orton.
Yeah, that it was not necessary.
I could see the sense it would make in having him drop it to The Miz with that Money in the Bank.
Right.
Because they want to set up a good WrestleMania match, with Drew and Lashley. That way when Drew wins it back in Mania, the fans will be in attendance then.
Well, yeah, but we've already had this match. Remember they faced at Backlash last year for the title.
Yeah, they did.
We've already had this feud in this match.
Is it bad I forgot about that?
Oh, that should tell you something.
It wasn't memorable at that time.
Right. So why are you going to do it again right now, this close together?
Oh, I guess maybe because like they're kind of building Lashley's character a little bit more. Like he's starting to stand out a little bit more now than he did then.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe this time it'd have a little bit more meaning to it. And the way they're handling that whole situation between Lashley and Miz, I loved it.
I like seeing Lashley ragdoll Miz, so.
Yeah. I ain't going to say the same, I ain't saying because I'm a big Miz fan,
Oh, I don't dislike the Miz. I do like him. I just thought that was a good,
It does make Lashley look good, though.
Well, yeah, it's the thing. Just beat the guy up, toss him around, because Lashley can do that to people for real. So,
Yeah, so other than that, I really wasn't able to catch much from Raw this week because my power was out, so it didn't record on the DVR, so I didn't get to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I did catch from Raw, though, that's very interesting to me, and again, something else I felt that may have been overdue, is Rhea Ripley being called up to the main roster, going to Monday Night Raw.
Mm-hmm.
I thought back when she was facing Charlotte and everything else, during that time, she was going to get called up. But they held off on it until almost a year later. So, I mean, with her going to the main roster, I hope they don't just, drop her all the way down to the bottom of the card and don't utilize her,
Well, yeah, and that's what worries me with the track record of NXT call-ups, It's not very good. There's not a lot of them that have made it after that. So that worries me because, since that match with Charlotte, they've already done enough stuff, bad for Rhea. They've already messed up enough stuff with her. This could not end well.
Yeah. And it's only been like you said with the NXT call-ups and the group as a whole, right?
Yeah.
The only call-ups that I saw that really did any good, only one comes to mind for me.
Who was that?
Kevin Owens.
Well, you have Kevin, you have Roman, you've got Seth.
Yeah. But you know what I'm saying of the recent groups that have been brought up,
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm just saying, of overall, look what they've done to Bray Wyatt.
Nice.
He's
but they set him on fire. That's about it.
Well, no shit. he's a perfect example because when he was in NXT, that's when his character was, I thought, the peak, the Bray Wyatt character. Yeah, that's when he was cutting all those, the promos and the swamps and shit,
Mm-hmm.
But then look what he is now. He's biker doink.
In our wrestling league, everybody keeps calling him that. I think you started that actually.
Well, Jim Cornette started it, but
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, we know, as we learned last week, Jim doesn't like clowns.
ICP came in the back and Boogie told Cornette, I'm standing there, he's like, man, if you need Bruiser for anything, he can do whatever for you. He was like, well, you might need to take my job because I'm about to kick these damn clowns out of here. Yeah, I might get arrested.
He does not like ICP.
No, that was actual, I've seen it.
Those two do not get along.
I've seen it, so that was a Jim Cornette, but
not very much.
Yeah, I hope they utilize Rhea Ripley to her full potential. That's a long shot, but she's one of the big talents that can really help elevate the women's division along, with Charlotte, Asuka, Lacey.
No, she can be a huge star. They just need to do it right.
Yeah. Then you had some news coming out of Japan too, right? That you wanted to hit on real quick.
Yeah, the junior heavyweight champion Hiromu Takahashi, he had to relinquish his title this week because he had a very serious injury during one of the Road to Castle Attack shows, which Castle Attack is the big event they're having this weekend. During one of the matches, he tore his pec. And they say it could be 6 months to a year before he comes back. So he relinquished the title, I believe it was yesterday, and they announced that tomorrow the match that he was going to be in is now a triple threat to crown a new champion.
And who's involved in that match?
It's El Phantasmo is going to be in it.
Okay.
And then El Desperado, and then Takahashi actually picked Bushi, his partner from LIJ, to take his place in the match.
Not gonna lie, I'm pulling for Phantasmo in that match.
I am too. I like the other two. They're good at what they do, and they have their own part that they play. But I want Phantasmo to win because I like what he's been doing lately.
Yeah. And speaking of New Japan, we had the title match between Jon Moxley and Kenta for the United States title.
Yeah,
and you watched that, and I was watching SmackDown.
Yep, that they just aired that tonight. So we'll talk about that match in a little bit because that's going to come up again here later.
That's one thing I do want to say about that, though, is we did see Jon Moxley surprisingly retain over Kenta. Did you watch NXT, AEW, any of that this week?
I did watch AEW this week.
AEW, I didn't think was too bad. There's not a whole lot really stood out to me for some reason. Usually it's good. I don't know why. Nothing really popped out at me this week except for maybe one or two things.
That wasn't too bad. Holy shit, some of those vignettes were goddamn atrocious.
I just feel like me. I was just trying to cram a lot of wrestling in one day,
I understand.
But, yeah, that segment with the Bucks' dad and Jericho and MJF was...
It was fucking terrible.
Yeah. That's just...
The motherfucker... The motherfucker literally looked like they spread some Smucker's strawberry across his face. And then he was sitting there. Did you see the faces he was making?
I didn't. I won't pay too much attention.
Oh my God. It was fucking ridiculous.
Now, I'm interested to see, we saw a little development with Moxley and Omega, I believe, right?
Yeah, we saw Omega building the cage they're going to have their match in because, he's such badass. He's going to build a barbed wire cage.
I'm still looking forward to that match. I know we've talked about that in the original barbed wire match. I think both of these guys do have the potential to pull something, good. I got a feeling they got the potential to put on a good match, just whether they're going to do it or not. The potential's there.
I got nothing to say there.
I feel like, that if we do see Moxley lose this match, he's going to be out for a little while.
Well, since he retained the title, that could be the case. So,
and then we saw a good match too with Rey Fenix and Archer. Lance Archer. That was one of the better matches I saw this week.
Yeah, they actually did have a pretty good match. I was actually glad to see Archer win a match for once.
Dude, that blackout that he hit on Rey Fenix had a little extra oomph behind it.
Yeah.
You caught that. You caught that then.
But, yeah. Yeah, it was almost bad.
Almost, yeah. I was like, God, he almost put him right on top of his head.
Yeah, it was close.
Yeah, that was a good match. Fast forward to NXT. We saw Johnny Gargano. He lost to Dexter Lumis after trying to get Austin Theory to interfere by hitting Lumis with the chair. And Theory wouldn't do it.
Right.
I don't know why they're playing Theory off the way they're doing it now.
Yeah, Austin Theory has so much potential, and they're just making him into a goof. It's frustrating.
But I wonder if it's like something to do with Dexter Lumis kidnapping him last week.
Like I guess they're trying to say like he brainwashed him or something.
Yeah, that's the only thing I'm thinking.
Right.
But one match I did see that I was actually surprised with how good it was. Was Karrion Kross and Santos Escobar.
Okay. I did not catch that one this week, to be honest with you, but
because Kross, his matches are usually pretty short.
Yeah, which I feel like they should be.
He doesn't really do a whole lot.
Yeah. Well, that's what they're trying to get off is that, he's a monster, he's a killer,
No other match made him look like a monster more so than this match.
Right.
And it was building. He was throwing people, the two other guys, Wild and Phoenix, he was throwing them around through the damn barricades, and it started out in the parking lot, but like I said, made Kross look like $1 million, right?
Right.
But the only complaint I had about that match was the finish.
Yeah. Oh, so what'd they do? What'd they do with that?
Kross hit him with a forearm to the back of the head and pinned him.
That's it?
That was my reaction. Because their building is like, okay, something big's about to happen.
Forearm.
Kross runs up, hits him behind the back of his head with a forearm pin. I'm like, what? That's it?
Forearm.
Dude, low-key, I was actually pretty upset about that. I was expecting something more. But one thing I did notice is Kross was holding his arm like he had hurt it. I don't know if he was selling from the match or if he legitimately got hurt.
Well, didn't he hurt it? Didn't he have a shoulder injury like almost right after his debut?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right after he won the belt. Yeah, so that's what I was wondering. It looked like it was the same arm. I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on that. Another thing I do want to talk about from NXT is, did you see Cameron Grimes?
Yeah, his new gimmick.
I'm not gonna lie, it had me rolling this week. I thought it was actually pretty funny.
I guess his version of the $1 Million Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, not gonna lie, that was one of the few times he had me laughing.
Well, I like Cameron Grimes. I liked him before, so I thought it was good. But
his in-ring work is good. Now his character got kind of annoying, but for some reason, like now they're doing his new character, it adds that comedy to it, and I think it's funny.
Although it is a little weird that he was just on TV running away from zombies and shit, and
now he's the $1,000 man.
Yeah, he's the $1,000 man.
But I'm interested to see where that one's going to head.
It could work.
What else came on? NXT, Raw. It's been a long day. Yeah, give me some slack. SmackDown wasn't horrible. Like I said again, not a whole lot really was standing out. It was just kind of
another episode.
Yeah, it just seemed kind of dull. Daniel Bryan, he was trying to challenge Roman to a match at Fastlane for the belt.
Right.
So then he had to wrestle Jay Uso. So if Daniel Bryan won, he got his match at Fastlane. Edge was a little upset about that.
Right.
Because Edge was like, I won the Royal Rumble. I should be getting the next match. They had their match in the main event, and Daniel Bryan lost by countout.
Oh, really? They had him lose by countout.
Yeah, they had him lose by countout, and then he continued to get beat down by Roman Reigns and Uso.
Okay.
So where they're going with that, I'm not sure of, but I got a feeling that Fastlane's going to be a tag match. I don't think there will be a title match at Fastlane.
Well, we'll see. You think they're going to do a tag match like that?
I think so. It wouldn't be the first time.
No, it wouldn't.
Seth Rollins, he was on there. He got put in the Cesaro swing. Cesaro came out there. They talked for a minute, put him in this little damn swing around, and that was about it.
And around we go.
Yeah. They saw Apollo Crews this week. He had a match with Shinsuke where he won.
Right.
So he had a heel turn last week, and now he's kind of like going to this like African accent, like they have with Kofi a while back.
Oh, when Kofi was supposed to be the Jamaican.
Yeah. So Otis, in the beginning of SmackDown, he turned heel last week too.
Right. Yeah, I remember that.
Him and Chad Gable. Him and Gable, and they had another tag match with the Mysterios.
Yeah.
And then it appears to, as I didn't catch last week because of the power being out, but it looked like Sasha Banks, she turned heel too.
It's just everybody's just switching.
Yeah. But Bianca did say she made her choice tonight and said she was going to go to WrestleMania and face Sasha Banks for the SmackDown Women's.
Yeah, I saw that.
And dude,
that should actually be a pretty good match.
I'm actually looking forward to that. I think that's going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a lot of different signings with the wrestling industry just this past week that you wanted to hit on.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that's come up that's will just sign with the WWE. You know, like we were talking about earlier, you know, the new class from the Performance Center.
Yeah, you got Taya Valkyrie.
Yeah.
John Morrison's wife, she left Impact, and now she done signed with WWE and went to the Performance Center.
Yeah, and I believe she was the longest reigning Knockouts champion in Impact.
She was.
Yeah.
And then the guy that everybody's comparing to Brock Lesnar, what's his name?
Parker Boudreaux.
What's your thoughts on him?
I'm interested to see how that's gonna turn out because he's only 18 years old.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. I did the same thing when I saw that. I was like, wait a minute.
Holy crap.
Yeah. So that should be interesting. I'm interested to see how that's going to turn out.
That's going to be very interesting, being that he's so young.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. But doesn't he look like he could be Brock Lesnar's son?
A little bit, yeah.
Like, the resemblance is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
No, then a big signing for AEW this week. You know, Big Show.
Yeah, this is way out of left field.
Yeah, I did not see that coming. I thought he was under a Legends contract with WWE.
Well, you know, he was still under a regular contract, you know, not that long ago.
Yeah. And
it's weird, though. They signed him to do commentary on their third show, which is supposed to, I guess, start sometime soon. That show, Elevation.
Yeah, it's going to be on YouTube on Monday nights.
So, yeah, I guess he's supposed to be doing commentary for that.
As well as, like, part-time in-ring performing. Because one thing I will say about Big Show is he can still go in the ring.
Yeah, well, he had gotten back into pretty good shape in the last couple of years. And
he's still got the ability to put on a few matches.
Mm-hmm.
Then Ring of Honor, they had a huge signing this week.
Yep, EC3 finally signed exclusively with Ring of Honor.
So where do you think he's going to go from here? I know he had some words with was it Jay Briscoe?
Yeah, it was Jay, but they never got to have the match because what was it? COVID. But well, you know, with him now, I think he could have a good feud with Roosh, you know, the world champion in Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
You know, I think they could have a good feud, or they could at least go back and finish the Jay feud because they never got to have their match.
I think that's the route they should go, is finish that EC3 Jay Briscoe feud,
because that could honestly be a really good match.
Yeah, and I'd like to see EC3 get used to his potential in Ring of Honor.
Oh yeah, and I think he will. I think right now Ring of Honor is probably the best place for him.
Yeah, because Impact, he's been there. He's accomplished what he could accomplish there. WWE, they wasted him.
Yeah.
New Japan, I really don't think he has an interest with.
No, that wouldn't work. I don't see him doing anything like that.
Then AEW, he'd get lost in the mix there. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah, there's really nobody there that could match up with him.
He's just going to get lost in the mix. So,
yeah,
Ring of Honor is definitely the best place for him to go.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, but mentioning New Japan, AEW, and Impact, that alliance between them, it appears as if that's starting to grow a little bit.
Yeah. Well, at the moment, and I've seen people that are involved with it say that at the moment, no, it's not a full talent exchange. You know, they've done these few little angles here and there. You know, obviously with Moxley being a champion in New Japan while still being in AEW.
Yeah.
You know, the things like that. And then, you know, you had Finn Juice show up on Impact. What was it, last week?
Yeah, last week.
So, I mean, which I was really surprised by, because the partnership that New Japan used to have with Impact did not end well at all.
Yeah, then the one that's really surprised me, that the rumor is just a rumor as of now, but Okada is, you know, the rumor is that he's going to either AEW or Impact for an appearance.
Well, and from what I've seen is that he's supposed to be doing both, and it's interesting that it would be Okada going to Impact, because he's kind of the reason why that relationship originally went bad in the first place, because of how TNA, back when it was TNA, you know, treated him as a wrestler. They just completely shit all over him when he was there.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Maybe it'll come up a little bit different this time, and Impact will see what a great talent that they had and didn't do anything with, you know, during his time there.
Right. Well, we'll see if he shows up.
Yeah, and where do you see this alliance headed? Like at the end, where do you see it going?
That's the thing. I don't see where it benefits certain people that are pushing it. You know, I mean, Impact is going to benefit from it because they're getting exposure, and we know how, you know, what their current exposure is already like.
At first, I thought it would benefit them, but as the weeks are going on, I don't really see who's getting the benefit there, you know.
Yeah. Well, and it's weird because you've seen like AEW keeps releasing these like almost like commercials where they're just like shitting all over Impact.
Yeah.
Yeah, like where does that make sense in trying to have a partnership with these people, you know? And not only that, it's the owner of the damn company that's doing it. you know, he's the one in the damn commercials.
Like, I didn't catch it. Excuse me. But yeah, I didn't catch it. What all was said during that?
It's just, you know, just talking about just anything they can just to put down Impact while they're working with them, you know.
Maybe it's part of a storyline.
I don't know. It's just really random and really odd.
Wherever that partnership is going to go, it's going to be interesting to see where that ends up, but I don't see it making any huge waves.
No.
I feel like that buzz from the initial announcement is starting to fade out.
Yeah, I don't see it significantly going anywhere.
I don't either.
You know, if you see some of the people talking about it, they think it's the greatest thing that ever happened.
Yeah, all the marks.
But
we're gonna go on and call it what it is, you know.
You said it, not me. But
I'm gonna go on and say it. It don't make me no difference.
I don't care either.
Yeah,
but,
then
you know, they think it's the greatest goddamn thing that ever happened since Buddy Rogers, you know, winning the first WWE championship. But, you know,
I'm interested to see where it goes, but unless they do something drastic, I don't see it having that big buzz like it did at the beginning.
And I'm telling you now, if I see one more fucking person say that this is just like the territory days, I'm gonna lose my complete shit.
Who said that? Who says that?
Dude, it's all over the place.
Are you serious?
Yes. These people are actually saying that it's just like the territory days.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go that far and say that.
Yeah, it's not even close.
All right, well, I mean, enough talking about what people want to try to say is the old territory days. You know, we obviously know that's not what this is. It ain't going to ever be like that again. Unless a lot of these...
That'll never happen again.
Unless, by some miracle, a lot of these smaller, true independent promotions, you know, gain more popularity and rise up. You know, we will never see that again.
Yeah.
But, you know, let's go into, like, of all the matches we saw, you know, let's talk about what we think is the best matches this week.
Mm-hmm.
For me, personally, I'm going to say the Karrion Kross and Santos Escobar match from NXT, that no DQ match. Right. That was the best match I saw this week.
Yeah. Well, like you said earlier, it made Kross look like a killer, made him look like a monster, which he should be.
Yeah, he should be, and that was the first match I really saw where he really lived up to that.
Right.
You know, as I thought it made them look like they were in such like a bitter rivalry.
That match and his match with Damian Priest, in my opinion, those are the ones he's looked the best in.
Definitely. Yeah, so after that match, I'm actually looking forward to seeing where this feud goes because I feel like there's more that they can do with it.
Right.
You know, even though it's not going to be for a cruiserweight title, obviously, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
But it's still got my interest for good reasons, you know.
Right. Yeah, no, it could be really good.
Yeah, but for you have also picked out a really good match.
Yeah, I actually did pick the U.S. title, the IWGP U.S. title, that match that happened tonight. You know, they had a really good just back and forth, you know, brawl, really. You know, and they did do some stuff outside the ring, you know, because this was kind of a bit of a grudge match a little bit, you know, because if you saw some of the stuff that Kenta was doing on Twitter, you know, the stuff he was tweeting to Renee and all that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, this other stuff. And then, you know, and them attacking each other on each other's shows and everything.
Yeah.
You know, so they did fight around the ring a little bit. They did do a table spot, which I didn't think was necessary, but
they just had to get it out their system.
Yeah, it is John Moxley. A table has to come up at some point.
Exactly.
Something has to be broken, you know.
Always in a Moxley match. Moxley, God, get the tables.
I never thought about it like that, but you're right.
I'll tell you one more match I do want to hit on, right?
Yeah. Because
it was a very close pick for really both of our best match of the week. Mm-hmm. And that was the Ray Phoenix and Lance Archer match on AEW.
Yeah.
That really...
Yes, I liked the match.
It made Ray Phoenix look good for being the smaller guy, but it still made Lance look good.
Yeah. And I liked a match from AEW. So everybody remember that.
It's on record now.
Yeah. There's a few matches from them I liked, but I liked that one a lot too.
That was one of the better matches matches I've seen from them.
Yeah. Like we were talking earlier, the Spanish fly that Phoenix hit on Archer.
Yeah.
And then Archer damn near spiked Phoenix there at the end.
Yeah. But still, it was a great match start to finish, and I like to see more of them two working together.
There's one thing that kind of aggravated me or bugged. Well, I won't say aggravated, but it kind of made me go, "Why?"
What was that?
Was at the end. Was at the very end when Archer picked up Phoenix and made him fist bump him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, when he just like picked him up and made him give him a fist bump. Like, why?
I guess just like a sign of that. Hey, Lance is trying to show that he respected him because they have been working together in a sense. The past couple weeks.
Yeah, wouldn't it just the way it happened? It was just kind of like,
Yeah, I get what you're saying because I was thinking the same thing for a few minutes, and then I remembered the thing between Death Triangle and Lance Archer, against Kingston, Butcher, right. Blade, Yeah. But now, normally where we have our spot botch of the week, we decided to rename that to something that covers a little bit more because we don't always see great spots or horrendous botches every week.
Yeah. Sometimes we'll see an interview or a promo or something like that.
Yeah.
Or just somebody might have said something that was hilarious,
So now we call this segment our moment flop of the week.
Yep.
And Nick, being that it was actually you that came up with this name, and I'm impressed with it. I'm gonna let you go first since this is our first time doing it under this name.
Yeah. Well, and I had thought about it because, and a lot of the times we were talking about stuff, I may not have had a favorite, spot or something like that, but I had a favorite promo.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, right. Or a maybe not necessarily a moment, but just something, one piece somebody might have said, just something that stuck with you. But my pick for this, and we already discussed it earlier, but was just that god awful pre-tape of MJF and Jericho with the Bucks' dad. It just looked like a damn high school art project.
Yeah, that was pretty rough to sit through. The intentions were there, but the delivery wasn't.
Well, we, when the Smuckers became clear on screen,
Yeah. What was your moment of the week?
Well, my moment was actually we both picked this moment, and that was actually the Spanish Fly from Phoenix to Archer.
Yeah. I thought that was like just one of the most impressive things that almost went wrong.
Yeah. And Archer likes to do that rope walk, moonsault and stuff, and he does a lot of other stuff like that. So, he can do that, but you're right. That again almost ended badly.
And I was impressed to see how Archer can move like that. That's not those aren't things you typically see the big guys do.
No.
But for me, I'm gonna say my flop of the week again was the finish to the Santos Escobar and Karrion Kross match.
Forearm.
Yeah, because like I said, they're building up. It's like, okay, this will be a big finish. This will be something good.
Right.
Karrion Kross runs up and hits him with a forearm to the back of the head.
Just forearm.
And I was like, okay, I know he's going to kick out of this. Referee's counting 1, 2. I'm like, okay, you're going to kick out now. I know you're going to kick out. 3. What just happened?
And then you're just sitting there like, forearm.
Yeah, pretty much. Like I literally sat at the TV like, just like that. I'm like, what the hell? What just happened?
Forearm.
Forearm. I mean, other than the disappointing finish, it was still a great match, I thought.
Yeah, like why couldn't they just have him like power bomb him or choke slam him?
Something.
Yeah. Something with a big impact.
Yeah.
A power move.
And now we go to one of our favorite segments of our show, where we each recommend a match that happened previously for our viewers to go back and watch and give us your thoughts on them,
And so why don't you go ahead and tell them what you picked, because you got a good one here.
I do. In my opinion, and this one had a lot of build, and it was coming for a long time.
Yeah.
Back at WrestleMania 30, everybody, was behind Daniel Bryan and his movement, leading up to then. And so at the beginning of WrestleMania 30, there was a match between Daniel Bryan and Triple H.
Yep.
The winner would go on to join Randy Orton and Batista battle for the WWE title.
Yep.
Well, Daniel Bryan won the match. So then he went on to join Randy Orton Batista in that title match and actually won.
Yeah. And that was when they were calling it the WWE World Heavyweight title, and it was both belts. Like Daniel Bryan took that nasty table bump in there.
Yeah.
Where he looked like he landed on his head pretty much.
Yeah, and I'm going to go ahead and say it too. Probably since I've been watching wrestling, that was probably one of the biggest WrestleMania moments I think I've seen.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It definitely. That's definitely one of the big ones.
The fans were truly invested in that match, and in Daniel Bryan like never before.
Well, the fans are the ones that got him there.
Yeah.
Because they were constantly chanting him, even when he wasn't there. If you remember that, when he wasn't even on TV, they were still chanting for him.
Like ever since Nexus invaded Raw. God, what year was that? You remember what year that was? That
was like 2011.
Yeah, 2010.
Yeah, something like that.
2010, 2011, where the Nexus invaded Raw, and Daniel Bryan got fired for choking Justin Roberts with his own tie. The fans really got behind him at that point.
Yeah.
Then Cena, talks Vince into bringing him back. They brought him back at SummerSlam in that huge tag match versus the Nexus.
Yep.
And ever since that moment, the fans, with the exception of a few short stints, the fans were really behind him.
Yeah.
And that movement just kept growing and growing and growing, and it culminated at WrestleMania 30. And that was what, 7 years later?
Yeah. Well, and you think that year before WrestleMania 30, just his popularity just skyrocketed.
Yeah.
It blew up. And, because he had a really good feud with Bray Wyatt before that. They did the thing where he joined the Wyatt family.
I remember that night he joined them. It was in Richmond in a steel. No, he betrayed them in a steel cage, I believe.
Yeah, he betrayed them in the cage match. But no, the WrestleMania 30 match, the main, the triple threat, that was a great moment. It was one of the true, great moments of WrestleMania.
Definitely.
When you really look at the true great moments, like the Ricky Steamboat, Randy Savage match, or the first match between Taker and Shawn, even Shawn winning the WWE title for the first time.
Or even what's another one? Hulk Hogan and Andre.
Yeah, right. And I think that goes up there, with some of those moments.
It definitely will, and that's definitely going to be a stamp on Daniel Bryan's professional wrestling career.
Yeah.
So that's my pick for this week. Daniel Bryan versus Batista versus Randy Orton for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 30.
Yep.
And you had a good pick too.
Yeah. This was a rematch between Taz and Bam Bam Bigelow, and this time it was for the FTW, the original FTW world title that Taz created in ECW back in the late 90s. And this was from ECW Heatwave 1998, which is, in my opinion, one of the best pay-per-views of any wrestling promotion ever. Anybody gets a chance to check out the whole pay-per-view, you should. It's great. But it was a rematch. You know, like I said, they had a match at the pay-per-view before this, and it ended when Taz had Bam Bam in a choke, and Bam Bam dropped to his back, and they went through the ring, and Bam Bam actually won that match.
They went through the ring.
Yes, they went through the ring, and Bam Bam got to his feet before the 10 count.
Wow.
Yeah. So in this match, you know, this is the grudge match now. So, you know, Taz and Bam Bam, and they go at it in this match. Taz even gets, and this is no joke, Taz actually gets Bam Bam in a T-bone suplex over his head through a table in the corner.
Jeez.
And then the end of the match, they're on the ramp, because in this particular event, the ramp went from the stage all the way to the ring. So it was just one big, you know, piece.
Yeah.
And Taz actually DDTs Bam Bam through the ramp.
They're just tearing the whole setup.
Oh, yeah. And they actually pretty much go around the whole arena before all this, too, just throwing each other through anything they can, you know. You know, chairs, anything, just, you know, merchandise tables. And well, see, and then it ends right after that. They come out of the hole. Taz jumps on Bam Bam's back, gets the choke, and chokes him out on the outside of the ramp outside of the ring.
Right.
And what's hilarious, you know, Shane Douglas was on commentary for this event. And at the time, Bam Bam and Shane Douglas were in a faction together. And Shane Douglas is screaming, he was reaching for the ropes. He was going for the ropes.
It ended with Bam Bam putting Taz through the ring, literally.
Well, that was the first match. This one, they go through the ramp.
Jeez.
And like I said, it finishes with Taz choking out Bam Bam on the ramp.
Hey, give me a little bit of background story on this FTW title, too.
Well, what that came from, the original idea, is at the time, Taz had been the number one contender forever, but just they did not give him the title match. So he said, fuck it, I'm going to make my own title. And that was the FTW title, which literally means fuck the world title. So he made his own belt and he started defending it, you know, as a world title.
And was it ever really truly recognized by ECW? Or?
It was never actually sanctioned. But they would still always call it, you know, FTW title match, you know.
Okay, and Taz created this title. How many times did he actually lose it?
He never actually lost it.
Really?
If I remember right, he never actually lost that belt.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's our classic matches of the week. You know, I had, again, Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton versus Batista.
Yep.
WrestleMania 30 for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship.
Yep. Great match, great moment.
It was. And Nick, he had Taz versus Bam Bam Bigelow for the FTW title at ECW Heatwave 1998. And as always, after we post this up on social media and all streaming services, we will post the links for the full matches on our Facebook page. So be sure to check them out there. And when you check us out on YouTube or Spotify, Anchor, whatever streaming service you prefer, please be sure to click that subscribe button and stay up to date with everything that we put out.
Yep. Give us a like, give us a subscribe. And, you know, we always try to get something out every week for everybody. And we've been working on a lot of stuff here lately. And you want to talk about some of that? What we got coming up?
Yeah, let's talk about this. As you know, again, last week we had Virginia pro wrestling legend Bruiser Graham. He came on the show and again just to share some stories from the road, told us about his training and his career and some of the big names he had met. And now, big announcement, next week we have a huge guest coming on our show. And Nick, I'm going to let you do the introduction for that.
So what we have is, it's not just the coolest and it's not just the best, but it's just incredible. The former ECW World Heavyweight Champion, former ECW Tag Team Champion, with Lance Storm as the Impact players.
He agreed to come on our show, be a guest, and tell us some of the things he did. About some of the things he did in ECW, and we are really looking forward to having him on the show and sitting down and talking wrestling like we always do.
Talk about anything.
Yeah. He will be here with us next week.
Yep.
And then there's more.
That's right. But wait.
Exactly, right? The next week. So next week we have Just Incredible coming on the show. Then the week after that, we will have the members of the Last Match Standing podcast joining us on our show as well.
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to talking with them too. Sit down and talk some good old wrestling, like we always do.
And have some more brains with us to pick some stuff and discuss some things in depth and get a little bit different perspective like we have with Joey.
Yeah, and Joey Carney, I want to talk about him for a minute. He was such a great member and mind to have on the show. He just released 2 interviews.
Yeah.
Yeah, he released his interview with the TNA World Heavyweight Champion Moose. And then he turns around and releases an interview with Mike Bennett and Maria Kanellis.
Yep, back to back.
He's doing big things, and I'm happy for him. So congratulations go out to him.
Yeah.
Be sure to check these interviews out too, guys. Again, look up the Angle Podcast on YouTube, Twitter, and you will find those interviews. Be sure to check them out.
So our Just Incredible interview will be available next weekend. And then our last match, our episode with Last Match Standing guest hosting will be the following weekend.
And it doesn't stop there. We're always pushing for more. We're always pushing for big interviews and guests to come on the show. So we will have more coming soon. Well, that wraps up this week's episode, guys. Thank you all for being patient with us through the bad weather and the technological difficulties we've been facing lately. And we're looking back. We're looking to getting back on track now that everything's over and everything's clearing up and we're getting into springtime.
Yeah, I hope so, because it's been crazy the last month.
It really has, man. But again, to the viewers, thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for watching. And don't forget to click that like and that subscribe button.
Yes, sir. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe. Why I can't say that word tonight. But we got some great stuff coming up for y'all. So stick with us.
That's right. But anyways, y'all, I'm Marcus.
And I'm Nick.
And we are out.